The trial of Queen Caroline in 1820 was one of the most sensational episodes in British history, revealing deep fissures between the monarchy and the people. Caroline of Brunswick, the estranged wife of King George IV, faced charges of adultery brought by her husband as he sought to dissolve their marriage. The trial, conducted in the House of Lords under the guise of the Pains and Penalties Bill, sought to strip Caroline of her title as queen and sever her ties to the crown. However, the spectacle transcended the legal proceedings, becoming a battleground for public opinion. Caroline's marriage to George IV, then Prince of Wales, in 1795, was fraught from the beginning. The union, arranged for political and dynastic reasons, quickly soured due to personal incompatibility and mutual disdain. By 1796, the couple had separated, with George demanding limited interaction with his wife and barring her from court. Caroline spent much of her time abroad, fostering relationships and behaving in ways that many considered unbecoming of a royal consort. By 1820, George IV ascended the throne, renewing efforts to divorce Caroline, whom he regarded as an embarrassment. Publicly, the king claimed moral grounds for the divorce, citing her alleged adultery with an Italian servant, Bartolomeo Pergami. However, the political motivations were unmistakable. Caroline's return to England after George's accession prompted widespread public sympathy, transforming her into a symbol of resistance against the excesses and corruption of the monarchy. The decision to put her on trial under the Pains and Penalties Bill was as much a political maneuver as a personal vendetta, aimed at preserving the monarchy's image by expelling a figure seen as disruptive to royal dignity. Public opinion was central to the trial's inception and trajectory. George IV's personal unpopularity among the masses played a decisive role in Caroline's rise as a public heroine. Known for his extravagance, debts, and moral lapses, George IV represented the excesses of monarchy in an era increasingly shaped by democratic ideals and social reform. Caroline, in contrast, was viewed as a victim of royal tyranny, a woman maligned and cast aside by her husband. Caroline's return to England in June 1820 set off a wave of public demonstrations in her favour. Crowds gathered to cheer her arrival, and she was embraced as the people's queen. This outpouring of support stemmed not only from sympathy for her plight, but also from broader discontent with the monarchy's perceived detachment from the struggles of ordinary Britons. The widespread criticism of George IV's lavish lifestyle in the face of economic hardship made Caroline's plight resonate with those who saw her as an underdog, fighting against privilege and power. The pressure of public opinion arguably pushed George IV to formalize the charges against Caroline. Without widespread support for his position, the king may have hesitated to expose the royal family to public scrutiny. However, the charged political climate, combined with Caroline's popular support, made the trial an unavoidable spectacle. The burgeoning press of the early 19th century played a pivotal role in shaping public opinion during Caroline's trial. Newspapers and pamphlets, increasingly accessible to the literate middle class, amplified the controversy, turning it into a national obsession. Coverage of the trial was often sensationalized, with vivid descriptions of the allegations and proceedings. While some publications sided with the king, the majority championed Caroline, portraying her as a wronged woman and a defender of popular rights. Caroline herself adeptly used the press to her advantage. Her legal team ensured that her story reached sympathetic ears, casting doubt on the credibility of witnesses and framing the charges as politically motivated. Public sympathy was further bolstered by satirical cartoons and broadsides, which lampooned George IV as a hypocritical and morally bankrupt ruler. The press also amplified the public's voice, reporting on demonstrations, petitions, and expressions of solidarity with Caroline. The sheer volume of pro-Caroline sentiment made it clear that the trial was as much about public perception as it was about the legal merits of the case. The trial of Queen Caroline became a proxy war between the monarchy and the growing forces of reform. For reformists and radicals, Caroline's plight symbolized the broader struggle against aristocratic privilege and governmental corruption. Her supporters in Parliament, particularly among the Whigs, saw the trial as an opportunity to challenge the monarchy and its unchecked power. Public opinion, therefore, became a powerful tool for opposition politicians. who leveraged Caroline's popularity to advance their critiques of royal authority. The public demonstrations in Caroline's favour also reflected broader societal changes. Britain in the early 19th century was undergoing a shift toward greater democratisation, with increasing calls for electoral reform and expanded suffrage. The Caroline affair, though ostensibly about personal morality, became intertwined with these larger demands for accountability and transparency. The monarchy's inability to suppress public support for Caroline revealed the growing power of public opinion as a political force. The trial concluded in November 1820 with the abandonment of the Pains and Penalties Bill. Although the Lords had voted narrowly in favour of the bill, the overwhelming public opposition made it politically untenable to proceed. The outcome was a significant blow to George IV's prestige, while Caroline emerged as a figure of popular triumph, albeit temporarily. The trial's aftermath highlighted the shifting dynamics of power between the monarchy and the public. The erosion of deference to royal authority, combined with the growing influence of the press and public opinion, signalled a new era in British politics. While Caroline's personal fortunes declined, she was barred from George IV's coronation in 1821 and died shortly thereafter. The trial left an indelible mark on the monarchy, forcing it to reckon with its role in an evolving constitutional system. The trial of Queen Caroline for adultery was far more than a legal proceeding. It was a cultural and political spectacle that underscored the transformative power of public opinion. George IV's efforts to discredit his wife backfired spectacularly, exposing the monarchy to ridicule and galvanizing popular support for Caroline. The episode revealed the extent to which public sentiment could shape political outcomes, even in an age where formal power remained concentrated in elite institutions. By championing Caroline, the British public asserted its role as a critical force in the governance of the nation, setting a precedent for the evolving relationship between the monarchy and its subjects.